welcome to the Mime Radio Show. I'm Karen Hoyer.
And I'm James Donlin. And we want to introduce our man behind the curtain, in this case, behind the dark frame surrounding us, Michael Diaz, our engineer, producer, fix-it-all man, the man with all the contraptions and levers and screens and connections that makes this show work for all of us. So thanks, Mike. And let's toast to Mike.
A little mime wine toast.
A little mime wine. Cheers. Good. Very nice.
Who's our guest today?
Our guest is one of the iconic, very special mime from Spain, Carlos Martinez. This is a man who's been working for almost 40 years in the profession. He's very accomplished, very experienced, very good. And we're just really wonderfully excited to have him with us today. Let me read you something about him before we start. And I think I'll use my anteojos here a little bit. Okay. Spanish mime Carlos Martinez is continually fascinated by the wood carving expressiveness of mime and its plain reduction to the essential. Completely without words, without props or ornamentation, he wants to capture the attention of his public in order for them to experience, feel, smell, see, touch, and hear the entire story in their minds. It is this challenge that intrigues Carlos Martinez with each performance. Since 1982, Carlos has performed his full-length shows throughout Europe, North and South America, the Middle and Far East, and South Africa. Teaching is important to Carlos Martinez, from pure mime workshops for beginners to advanced courses for prospective actors. Carlos has also fine-tuned hand movements for the Spanish synchronized swimming team, improved the spatial imagination of architecture students, and strengthened the body language fluency of public speakers. Let's welcome Carlos Martinez.
Bravo.
Bravo.
Welcome.
Bienvenidos.
Yes.
Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias.
Yeah. We're really happy to have you here. You have so much to say and some insight into the world of mime.
Well, I try. I've tried.
And where are you located? Where are you now? In Spain?
In Spain, yes.
Which city are you in?
In Barcelona.
Barcelona.
So
but your home is in Asturias, right? Which is in the northern.
No. I was born in Asturias.
Born there. Yeah.
I was born in Asturias, and then my family moved to Barcelona for work, and then of course I had to go with my parents. So I'm living here. Oh, mamma mia! I have to remember. In Barcelona, I am since 1967.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
I am almost Catalan here.
And the Gaudi Cathedral is finished? The Gaudi Cathedral is finished? You've seen it finished?
No. I should say yes, but I have to be honest.
Yeah, right.
Never.
Yeah, I remember when I was there in Barcelona. When was that first time? Maybe in the 80s. And I remember, oh yeah, they're building it. They're constructing it, but it's still probably unfinished to this day.
No, not yet.
Yeah.
But we have many jokes about this because it's clear. So, but we believe that some people will see it finished. Yes.
Yes. Well, Carlos, I have never had the opportunity to see you perform live. I hope that someday I do get that. But I've been enjoying watching all the many videos that you post, and the little short videos and the little trailers for your shows.
Yes.
It's been fascinating to look at that. So our first question is always, how do you prepare to go out on stage? Do you have something that you think or say to yourself right before you step out onto the stage?
My secret is the dressing room, the famous dressing room. This place for me is not just a place, it's even a subject that I teach in theater schools. Because in the theater schools, they teach us, or they prepare us to be on the stage. But nobody is teaching us what happens in the dressing room. Of course, if you are in the dressing room 5 minutes, it's okay. But in my case, I need 1 hour to put the makeup. And then what do you do 1 hour in the dressing room? So you think a lot. And I just wrote in Facebook, I think 2 or 3 days ago, I wrote that in the dressing room is not a place where you put the mask, is where you take away all the masks before you go to the stage. And this is very important for me. This helps me to go to the stage, to know that in this moment, I am the Carlos Mime. I'm not the father, I'm not the husband, I'm not the friend, I am not the uncle, I am not the neighbor, I am Carlos Mime. So this helps me a lot. The dressing room is the key point.
What about that moment, that split second when you're standing maybe in the darkness in the wings off stage, that moment right before the first step? Is there a different feeling or thought or energy that comes over you?
You want to go even to the detail.
Yes. Well, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. For me, always it's important that the stage is dark. For me, it's very important, because when it's dark and we come on the stage, we can see the audience. You know, they don't see us, but but I can see them. And this moment is I am going to the big arena. The big arena. And some people, you know, in Spain, still people are, or no, still many people know that Spain is known by bullfighters and these things, you know. But in fact, metaphorically, is to go to the arena. So is fear, is the nervosity.
Yeah.
How do you call this?
Yeah.
Nervous,
yeah.
Because you will never know how it will go. But you put one foot on the arena, knowing that it will work. As an amateur, when I started doing few things, I never had this security. I went to the stage and let's see what happens. Perhaps we were more brave, I don't know. But, but when we are more years on the stage, we know that in the arena we can control everything, but not the audience. This is the fear that we have. I remember when I asked a bullfighter, a professional one. I asked, "Are you afraid to the bull? You know, to go to the arena?" And he said, "I am afraid to go to the arena, but not to the bull. In that way, this is my job, you know." And I thought, what? And then make me thinking, we are not afraid of silence. Silence is our bull. I know how to control silence.
Wow.
Some people think, yeah, but you are 90 minutes in silence. Yeah, but this is my job. It's my bull. I know how to handle this, but I don't know how it will work with the audience.
Along this lines, what is the significance of that audience? What does the audience represent? Like, you've used the word bull. I'm not afraid of the bull. Is the audience a force of nature that is frightening to you? Is it something to play with? Is it a family? Is it is it to inform? Like, what character does that audience, generally speaking, take for you?
In Spanish, in the language of the bullfighting, again, sorry, it looks like I'm promoting bullfighting. This is not my job here. But the language of the bullfighting, the language we use nowadays, or in our normal language many times, the audience is called, in English, respetable, respectable.
Respectable.
You can say in Spanish, público.
Mhm.
You can say espectadores. But in the bullfighting language, the audience is called respetable.
Oh,
So it
interesting.
means you have a lot of respect for the people who came. Uh,
Mm.
I have the tendency, or I had the tendency to count the empty chairs. When you go to the stage and you see that there are 20 chairs empty and 200 are full, and you are thinking of the 20 empty, and you think there is something wrong here. And one day I thought, no, I should count the empty sofas. Even if there are only 20 people on the theater, it means there are 20 sofas empty.
Ah.
These people came to see Mime. So I have a lot of respect for those people that stop their agenda in one way, their life, to come to see a little man from Spain, that is not even speaking on the stage.
Wow.
And they come. I mean, this is for me the meaning of to show respect to the people. In this time of the pandemic, when the theaters started to open, some people said, perhaps you have only 8 people. I said, well, is 8 sofas empty? I
Yeah,
will
yeah, yeah.
do the best for them.
That's
Yeah,
fantastic. That's
that's
beautiful.
good.
Yeah, I'm totally in agreement with that. How did you now this idea of respect is this something that might have started early in your life with Spanish culture or your unique family? Like how did you get started in this journey as a mime, going back years?
Yes. Well, I always wanted to be an actor. I didn't know what was a mime. As a child, I think I was, I don't know, but 7, 8 years old. In that age, more or less, I always wanted to be in front of the audience. Um, but no idea what. I knew theater. This is clear. And I always wanted to say, to be or not to be, that's the question. I always wanted to be theater, an actor. And then I remember that I told my father that I want to be an actor, and he told me, but he said, but nobody in the family was an actor. Why do you want to be? Normally, if somebody wants to be a musician, perhaps the grandfather played the piano, but in my case, it was no tradition of theater. And one day, some years later, my mom told me, oh, this is an homage to my mom. My
Mm.
mom told me, when I was a young, I was an actress. But in that time, it was not very nice to say that you are an actress. Otherwise,
Mm.
you are closer to a prostitute.
Yeah. Mm.
So I had to play in hidden, but I always wanted to be professional. So it was in my heart, but nobody knew. So please, if you want to be an actor, work, study, play, and do it well.
Oh,
Ah.
that's
It was
wonderful.
the real, I mean, what a
Uh,
nice comment of my mom.
and
And
that it was a secret from you until
Yes,
she finally said, "This is I'm passing it on to you." Really?
yes, yes. So even my father didn't know anything.
Wow!
that's a
Wow!
great story.
Wow!
And
Tell
then
us
so
how.
you go ahead, Karen.
I was just gonna say, tell us how you started your journey. Did you go to a theater school, or did you study theater in school, or what started? What did you
Yeah,
study?
when I was 14, it was a theater group in the neighborhood, and they needed a young boy to help. So of course I said yes immediately. It was theater, and I was performing with them. I imagine I don't know, every weekend, as far as I remember. Of course, not professionally, just to help with some characters, always as a child. But then it was in 79 when I had the option to enter in a professional or semi-professional mime company.
Oh.
And then I said, yeah, but I want to be an actor. I don't want to do mime. Um, and then they said, no, but you have to study mime. And I said, okay, I will study mime, but at the same time, I want to study theater as well.
Mhm.
And then I could use the time. Of course, my main education was theater. It was I think it was about 5 years, five years studying theater, and then about 3 years studying mime. And this time I was practicing with the mime group, and I started to learn how to combine theater and mime.
Mhm.
This I like it so much to put. An, Mime was in that time was so technical,
Mhm.
and theater was for me more alive. And then I tried to combine both.
So
And
you this sense of the actor, that was very important. Like even now in your work today, this craft of the actor is very central and very important to the
yes,
what you
yes,
do. That's the core of it. Yeah.
yes, because and I, what is a mime? A mime is an actor who controls better the body, but in fact is an actor, and the actor sometimes controls very well the words, the breathing, the position, but sometimes it needs to control as well the hands and the face and the the positions, but only the also the expressions even,
Yeah.
so this is perhaps where I started to learn things from mime that helped me to learn better how to be an actor, and things from theater that helped me to be a better mime. For example, my theater teacher, very known or very dear in Spain, he told me, Carlos, as an actor, 1 minute in silence on the stage is almost impossible as an actor, because the people will be bored. And and I thought, I believe in the almost. I believe in. I'm sure there is a way to make this silence interesting, and I didn't
I,
know so much about mine.
I
So
always say that what an actor does 100% of the time is to be present, not talk. And
yeah,
in our daily lives, we don't talk. Most of our time is spent in movement or a sense of being. So yeah, you're right. That notion you had was
Yes,
yeah,
very
but
but
yeah,
what the teacher was also pointing out is maybe the fault of an actor that thinks that they need to fill the space with words, when
exactly,
in
yeah.
actuality they don't, and that's the gift of the mime, that you can fill the space and the time with your presence.
How do you
yeah.
define mine? What's your I mean, you're already talking about, we're getting a sense of that already, but how would you define what you do? And maybe how it's changed over the years.
Uh, in the beginning, as I said, I didn't want to do mime. I had to do it because I was in a mime group, and I thought, okay, what I want is to perform, and if I don't have other company, I do mime. But then I realized that with mime, I could start to learn techniques that could help me to play theater better. I took it more as a training to be an actor, and not as an art itself. It was a good education. It was a good many performances we had, bad experiences, that we did mistakes and oh, mamma mia. But but it helped me a lot. It's in theater many times the people from outside, they think that an actor is improvising, It's coming to the stage and does it in a natural way. And I always say, no, everything is well planned. It's so many hours of rehearsals, and perhaps the actors improvise more than the mimes, perhaps, but the mimes, we had to plan every movement. It's like the magicians, If I do a mistake, you see the trick. So I have to be so precise. And this precision helped me to play better theater. This is what made me to turn into mime, because there I can bring my theater with me more than bringing mime to the theater,
What is your theater? How would you describe what you do now? Carlos Martinez, the mime. Is there a way to put that into words?
I always, somebody said, you are more than a mime. And I like this because, in fact, we are much more than our profession, Somebody wrote to me, oh, poor you, that you have to keep the makeup the whole time, And I said, what? No, the makeup is my job, it's my work. But when I finish, it's like when you see a priest, and he's a priest and he sleeps as priest. No, takes away the toga, I don't know, or the police, that takes away this indumentaria. Sorry for my Spanish words, I don't have in English, but you know what I mean.
The uniform.
It's a moment that you can separate and you can say, no, finish. We are more. I say I because it's my experience, but I think we know that we are much more than our profession.
Mm-hmm.
So would you say what you do is a complete theater art? It's a complete poet. It's theater and poetry. I mean, do you have words like that you could describe?
I would go for the storyteller.
The storyteller.
I am a storyteller. All my pieces have a story to tell. Yeah. There is not only technique. You almost don't see the technique. You don't see something just funny. You need to understand the story in order to laugh. So mainly I am a storyteller.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that because of looking at your work. I was thinking about asking you about writing for mime, because I do see that you are a storyteller, and each of your pieces has the beginning, the middle, and the end, and usually a little twist at the end that a good short story has. But the other thing is, besides being a good writer, you're also a good editor, because you edit your gestures and those moments of stillness and takes to the audience to get it down to just the essence. So your pieces are short, but they are absolutely precise
and full.
So you are a writer and an editor.
Well, the editor, yes, I am, but basically is my director. The director and we are the ones who plan the piece, but then who were cutting here, change here, if it's possible or not. There is an example I always share with my students. When I play two characters, in for example, in the bus stop, I have a piece in YouTube, you can see in bus stop, one character is smoking and has the cigarette in this hand. And the next character is reading a newspaper. And for me, the change, this editing, I do it with the hand of the cigarette. I just have to put the other hand here, and I already have the newspaper.
That's a beautiful example, yeah.
And many mimes, they are afraid they want to do this change very fast because they think this change is not relevant. And I believe in the change. I believe in this editing because they are art.
Your pieces are so well crafted. Like that's a perfect, that's an excellent example. I really like that example you use. You know, there's this, but then if you do this, you're holding something. But that I just really enjoy the way your work is so well placed. Like every moment is full and counts, and it's not like you say, a lot of mimes. Oh, I got to do this quickly to get this, so I get from here to there. But you're making that every moment is lived and well thought out. It's very good, very good. Yeah.
I like what you just said. I believe in the change.
Yeah.
Change is as important as the action.
How has your work changed over the years? How over these 40 years, how has it evolved?
Well, there were moments that things that happened in my life that made me change some things. In the beginning, I'm talking about the 80s, I was not sure if I was more an actor, a mime, a clown. I was searching for my place. And of course, every actor, every mime, every artist on the stage will love to hear the people laughing. So I wanted that the people could laugh. But some of my stories were not funny, were to make the people thinking. But I wanted the people to laugh, so I changed things, and I thought, this is wrong. This is wrong. No, the people can be in silence as well. You know, sometimes the mime is in silence, but there is no silence because the people are laughing the whole time, which is correct.
Or the brain is making sounds, you know,
Yes.
like it took me when I was a young mime, sometimes I would be concerned that the audience was so silent. And it took me a while to understand that maybe they're just concentrating and they're so deeply involved with what you're doing that they're not making any sounds whatsoever. It took me a while to become comfortable with that possibility. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was performing with an actor, an Italian actor in Switzerland, and the actor was telling stories. Then he finished, and I came. I did mine, silence. Then he came again. I was speaking, telling another story. So he was telling stories with words, and I was telling stories with silence. And at the end, a journalist came and said, "It's so interesting because when I was listening the actor, I was converting the words in pictures. But when I saw you, I was converting your pictures in words."
Wow.
And this is what exactly you said. The people try to put the information they get into words. This is why sometimes, I mean, a few days ago, I was performing and I did the classical egg, the classical movement. And then you can hear an egg, Somebody said, an egg. And looking back, did you see an egg? And the other, yes, we saw it. He's like,
that's wonderful. Yeah. I remember
we
reactions.
We understand. It's an egg.
I remember those reactions. A lot of times from younger audiences or more innocent audience, they would go, "Oh, he's doing that. He's doing that." It's like, you're right. I haven't thought about that.
Now I tell you, I see old people doing this. Old people are so fascinated that they tell loud on the theater, in the theater. And it's so nice. Some people have to say, shut up, because I have a piece. This is what I played now on Saturday. I had a show about books without words. And I enter in a bibliothèque, in a library, and then I open a book and I show what is inside. It's a very short story. I do 7 books. And of course, there are no titles. I don't say anything, but you can hear the people, it's Sherlock Holmes,
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
it's Dracula, and they say the names. And sometimes you hear, I have no idea. But it's interactive. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
Yes,
Beautiful.
and the thing that is so wonderful about that, and I remember when I was performing a lot for children, it's sort of like they are so involved, and it's using their imagination in a way that they don't get to do most of the time, because most of the time they're being spoken to. It's words, 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 but in the silence, they have to they're just as active. I used to say to them afterwards, is your brain hot from working so hard because you were using your imagination?
how is that's a good point that Karen's making. I was going to say, audiences, you think audiences have changed? I mean, like, especially with younger people, attention spans might be less. Maybe younger generations aren't used to working their brains so much as maybe 40, 50 years ago, or Marceau's
Of
time.
course, it change the age of the audience has changed. In my case, when I was younger, I had many young people coming, but now that I'm getting older, I have more old people coming. Uh, but uh, but the people react with this point of moment is coming. Um, Expectations.
Yeah.
People don't have any expectation. When it's mime, well, sorry, they come with a false expectation. They think it will be boring, no speaking, a lot of silence, 90 minutes.
You're going to ask for money.
Yes. I mean, why do I go then,
Yeah.
And there, because they have the false expectations, is where is our strong point. Because we can offer them something that they did not expect. And then they go home. If I had known, I would have come with the whole family. Yeah.
So a little bit of mime today is, or maybe always, maybe all artists, we're like explorers or missionaries, bringing ideas to, not a religious missionary, but we're people bringing knowledge to another group of individuals.
Yes. I mean, the audience that came Friday, Saturday, I was performing in a little theater. I play there every year in Germany, and they the people that, let's say 90%, they didn't know me. They came because they know the theater, because they know some friends that invited them. But they didn't come to see me. They didn't know my name. Perhaps the poster said something. But in pantomime, in Germany, it sounds, pantomime is the most boring thing you can imagine. So no way. I mean, if somebody comes, it's a miracle. And but the people come. Not many, I have to say. After the pandemic, still people are afraid. But I could feel that every detail I was doing, the people were following. It's like it's new for them. And many of them confess afterwards, look, I came ready to think in the break, I will go home. Because the show has a break, 45 minutes break, 35 minutes, and then how do you call the encores,
Yeah.
So it's a full 2 hours with the break and everything. And people told me very, very honestly, I came convinced that after 45 minutes I will go home. And even friends of friends, friends of friends that said, I came because of you. I would never go to see a mime. let me tell you an anecdote that every time I tell, the people think is not true. So imagine how important for me is. It was a girl that after the performance came and said, I was laughing and I have pain in my, how do you call this?
Jaw, the jaw.
Jaw, the
Yeah.
jaw, it hurts a lot. And it sounds, I would say, very nice metaphor, I
Yeah,
said,
yeah, yeah.
very nice. And she said, no, 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 you don't understand. Really hurt my jaw. And I said, well, thanks for the nice hyperbole, very, very nice. But come on. And she said, it seems that you don't understand me. I said, well, I understand. And she said, no, no, no. Look, 3 days ago, I was at the dentist and he made an operation here. And he told me, please don't laugh if you can for 3 days. So she was at home and bored, and she said, I cannot go anywhere. So she checked in the newspaper, and it's a true story. And she was reading the newspaper, a mime artist, and I go there. I am not in risk to laugh. And she had a big problem. And I said, well, sorry. And she said, no, the most painful is that when I tell my dentist that I came to a mime show and I was laughing, he will not believe it.
How have you aged over the years? How have you had to adapt? Like we're getting older, 40 years, I have 50 years doing this.
Yes. Yes.
How have you had to adapt, or what compromises have you made with the process of aging? I'm sure your brain and your imagination is stronger than ever, but
Yes.
physically or otherwise. But
The good thing is I don't play the pieces of others. I play my own pieces. So I adapt the pieces to my body. And when I have things that I cannot do, I redo the piece, adapting to myself. This is the way, but it's also psychologically, the years have given me different moments that change something inside. As I said in the beginning, I wanted more to be funny, but then, for example, when my mom died, I was so touched, so down, and I was on tour with a funny show. And I said, no, I cannot keep doing this funny show. I need in the middle of the show to put something serious, really serious. That I mean, not serious in the sense of tragedy, but hey, a poem, something, a really deep poem. And I did it. And people were in silence watching and clapping at the end, even more than with the laughing. And yeah, the death of my mom changed then to develop other pieces, more poetic, more deeper. Then I was performing in a theater in Switzerland, in Geneva, and another mime came to see me, and he said, I cannot do what you do. I said, why? He said, because I need that the people laugh. You are able to be 20, 30 minutes, nothing, complete silence, and the people are there. He said, there were some moments that I look at the people thinking that they were bored, but they were watching. And he said, I cannot do that. And I said, well, thanks to my mom that I can do it. Because this changed something in my life.
Yeah, I think you're right. I did. Yeah.
It sounds like it was a moment where you realized you wanted to be a little bit more open and to share yourself a little bit more without the like laugh at me.
Also
Yeah.
release her spirit in some way. Like I have a piece that I haven't done for 10 years that's similar to the story you're telling me. It's a piece about my childhood and my mother's present. And I created this piece the same year she died. And there's some spiritual kind of poetic moments. People love the piece. And I haven't done that for a while, but now because of what you just said, I'm understanding more the importance of that piece. And it's something that I have to do again. You know,
I
yeah.
believe in the dignity of what we do.
Mm,
I mean, sometimes, I mean, I have different shows, and every show has a different topic. And for me, this is important because as I told you, the people will not come to see me. Not all the people will come to see me, and not all the people will come to see Mime. But they could come because of the topic.
mm.
When I play human rights, uh, perhaps less people come, but these people are interested in human rights. Perhaps they are not interested in mine or in Carlos Martinez, but they are interested in human rights. I
Yeah, the
have a show
material.
about the Bible, even, you know, in a very theatrical way, nothing religious, like human rights, nothing political. It's theatrical, and people come because they are interested in the topic.
Yeah. Yeah. You're you know, you're for people that don't know, they should look at your website. You're very, very progressive and very good with capturing, with organizing these subjects and these ideas you're talking about. Like you have a piece that you did recently about conserving water, right? For example, like
Yes,
or a climate, the climate issue. But I really admire you for this ability to find these topics because there will be an audience for these topics, and
exactly,
the social
exactly.
power is so important, you know. For yeah,
So,
And it's sorry.
no, continue.
Okay, and it's also easier for my agent, you know, my booking agent. He has something else to sell. You
mm.
know, if he has to sell a mime, they say, well, I can buy makeup and I do it myself, you know.
Yeah.
But he's not selling just a mime. He's selling a topic, a story,
Mhm.
a concept. So when we offer a good project, you know, almost wrap for a present, when it's already well prepared from beginning to end, I think this is easier for the artist, of course, but also for the people around, the promoter, to promote it better. Yeah, when my promoter has to promote human rights, they are not going to churches. They are going to Amnesty International, to NGOs. You know, when they have to promote about water, they go more to other departments. You know, even to the political ones because they
Mm.
are interested. Or I don't know, the topic of literature. You know, the books. You go more to schools, or so it helps the promoter, it helps the manager, it helps the booking agent, it helps the whole team, and of course it helps the audience.
Is that when you say we have this prepared? Is that is what who are we? Your team, like
Well,
you're more
basically,
intimate team.
yes,
That yeah. Who are
yes,
they?
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, from the beginning, I wanted to work with a manager. For me, this was important. And my manager, Joyce Phillips, American, living in Barcelona, she was my manager for 30 years, or even more. And this was the key person to help me to go slowly, in the sense that I want to be famous. And she always said, Carlos, decide. Do you want to work many years or to be famous? I
Ah.
said, no, no, I want to work many years. So the fame is a consequence.
Mm.
Don't fight for fame. And you know, sometimes we want to get more famous, and she always was helping me in that sense to be, no, wait for the right moment. Then
Mm.
when the agent came, my booking agent, she had to teach him the same. Now, don't try to sell Carlos wherever. No, 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 no. Slowly, slowly. So we had to learn from that and sometimes suffer. When the public relations came, my manager said, slowly. Yeah, but we need it slowly. It's not. We are dealing, if we talk about sport as a comparison, we are dealing with a table tennis and not tennis, you know. The best table tennis in the world cannot compete with Nadal, you know.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, but the best table tennis in the world has, I don't know, 2,000 people watching. Yeah, it's nothing compared with Nadal, but it's other sport. So when somebody says, but how is it possible that you play for 200 people when I play for 10,000? Well, because I chose other profession and I know my place and
yeah.
I play for less people. If I
That's
have
a
2,000, they don't see me, you know.
that's
What
great advice. Great
what
advice.
what is your actual creative process when you go? You have an idea of a show and that you want to put on or a piece that you want to create. How do you start? Do you write? Do you draw pictures? Do you go into the studio and start moving around? And do you ultimately have a director that you work with?
Well, I have a director, but I always start with words. I am a word man. I always say I am a mime in love with words. I love words. I'm not a drawer. I'm not a thinker in that, ideas or pictures. No, no, it's a word. When I hear a word, when I write a word, then the word starts to be alive. And many times at the end is nothing. It's only a word because I cannot build up nothing. But this perhaps later helps me for another piece, you know. So no,
do you have lots of journals and notes? Like, do you have like I'm personally famous for writing things down. I make
yeah, yeah,
lists
yeah, yeah.
and concept. And I have lots and lots of papers hidden away in different corners with all these
Yes,
thoughts.
yes,
Are you similar to this? Yeah,
it's the
yeah.
same. I'm writing, writing. Oh, of course, you know what? I am sure that happens to many of you. That when we see a movement on the streets of somebody or in an airport, a train station, a little movement, somebody, I don't know why I imitate it. You know, I saw a man doing, like, a little peak, and I thought, a nice, and I was doing without them, and I thought, I have to do something with this. And now I created, I mean, years ago, I created a piece about an aquarium, a man looking an aquarium. And then this man is doing,
Great idea. Yeah.
and the people love these little movements. And
Yeah.
So observation is very important for you. Like,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
as an instinct, not something that you don't even you have to think about. I'm going to, but you just
no, 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 no. Yeah,
naturally see. Yeah, that's
I know
important.
I know that when I see people walking by and they have a distinct walk,
yes,
that I
yes,
want to feel it in my
yes,
body. I
yes,
want to imitate it because I want to feel, what does that feel like? And then you start to feel
yes.
like, who is that character?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And this can give you ideas
Yeah.
for building up character or an object or a feeling or I don't know. There are many little things, but I'm more writing. I like to
And
write stories,
and
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 then,
how do you work with your director? Is it always the same person, or and what is the relationship between the mime who has created the piece and the director who is being the outside eye?
yes, I believe in the director. I know many mimes that they are afraid of the director because they look at the director as a teacher. is if I do this, the director will come and will tell me, no, you have to do like this or like this, and I don't want this. And then I said, no, I have a director, not a teacher. If I want a teacher, I will book a teacher. But I have a director. A director is the one who is being the most professional mirror to tell me what he sees. It's more expensive than a mirror, but at least tells me the truth, like in the Snow White fairy tale, that the mirror tells you the truth. And for me, this is the director. I work with this one, Robert Long, is also American, living in Barcelona, and I'm working with him since 2005. I like long relationships. And when I have an idea, I just call him. I said, I hire you for 4 hours or something. And then we go to a studio. We work 4 hours. And then if we need more next day or next month, or he gives me homework, I keep working. And yeah, always like this.
Do you call do you call the director in early in the process, or do you do a lot of personal solo work first before you call the director in, or does it start together from the beginning, from that phone call of the idea?
No, but depending on the piece. I mean, once I had to play a piece about a box of chocolates. How boring is to see somebody eating chocolate, and because a chocolate company in Switzerland, they hired me to play mime. They didn't ask me any piece about chocolate. But I said, I'd like to surprise them with a piece about eating, And then I had no idea, because I thought this will be the most boring thing you can imagine. 3 minutes, no words, no music, just eating chocolate. I called him and I said, look, I have a challenge. I have few ideas, but I need a piece that in 3 minutes I can tell a nice story eating a chocolate. How do you call bonbons? We say
chocolates, candies, chocolates.
But the chocolate, because it was a chocolate factory.
And
I tell you, it's about 3 minutes, and I still play this. This was years ago. I still play this piece. It's now in my show. And the work of the director was watching, giving suggestions. Can you do it? Can you try? Can you change that? Because one chocolate is this kind of chocolate. And the chocolate company told me that this is the biggest problem to advertise chocolate on television, because if the chocolate comes, it's dirty, and the teeth are brown, dark brown, and then it's disgusting. But when I do it in mime, it's your imagination seeing everything. And they couldn't believe it. They say it works. So the director was giving me this one with like this, put it later, let's do another one. And I have to think, we have 7, we have, I think, 10 different chocolates, and each one is like a character.
Wow.
This chocolate is like everybody can see, smell the chocolate.
Beautiful. Is it important to you that the director has movement background, or is it better that he's more objective and more is it important that the director knows something about mime, or that's not so important?
He knows about mime because he was in San Francisco mime troupe, I think.
Oh.
So, in the beginnings,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah, 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 yeah.
he's now 70. So and he was doing mime on the streets and this kind of clowny, and
Yeah,
but
maybe I even knew this guy because I had a school in San Francisco in the 70s, a
Yeah.
mime school in the San
yeah,
Francisco Mime Troupe, which wasn't really
yes,
a mime troupe. It was more of a
exactly,
physical,
exactly.
like a commedia dell'arte, very
Yes,
political.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
but
I
I'm
don't
not,
know which group he was, but definitely he knows a little bit at mine. But
yeah,
he himself is an actor,
yeah,
also film actor and also director. So he has a lot of knowledge. And when he can help me with the mime, he's honest. He tells me, "Sorry, you did it well, but I didn't understand," or but also can give me ideas about the stage, where to start. Do I start
mm-hmm.
more in the right, more in the left, more in the back? And these perspectives are the perfect answers, or are the perfect solutions from the director.
Well,
Yes.
I feel that the mime art is in the same family as the cinematic art in terms of time and
Yes.
space and
Yeah,
editing and viewpoint and camera angle. I mean, I'm sure
it's
you
true.
probably agree, but it's a very
Yeah.
similar process. Mime and cinema are very close in terms of their aesthetic.
It's
Yeah,
true. It's true.
yeah,
It's,
yeah.
because even it's what I said, even the editing of a film, this change sometimes is beautiful. And of course, we keep watching the film, and this moment was only what, 1 second, 2 seconds, you don't
Mm-hmm.
see,
Mm-hmm.
but it's art. And on the stage, I promise myself, no, I want to enjoy the change of one character to other, one object to the other. I want to give time to the people to see it. The people will not go home, so they are going to watch. Even this editing can be artistic part of our work.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's
Hmm.
beautiful, the idea of transformation. Like you say, the guy with the cigarette and then just little
Yes.
change and it's a whole different person,
Yes, yes, it
Yeah.
changed completely, completely.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's my principle when I teach mime. I always say, if you give the something, the other, you take it from the other hand, or the other
Mm-hmm.
person. But you have to have something. One thing is our imagination, another thing is the imagination of the audience. For me, this is clear, it's a cigarette, but for others, can be a ring, can be a flower, can be.
Yeah.
So you have to make very clear the object. And sometimes this needs 15 seconds. And
Hmm.
you,
Mm.
come on, Carlos, you could do it faster. I said, why? The people need to
Yeah.
understand
The,
it.
the people need time. You can't run ahead of the audience.
Yes,
I always use the metaphor like with a mask. For good mask work, you can't go ahead of the mask or behind the mask. You have to
yeah,
be with the mask. So with an audience in mind, sometimes you do have to go slower because they have to receive that information.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
I
You're
love
very,
Yes. I,
slow man. Yes.
yes. I've been watching some. You were talking about teaching, and I was watching some of the little videos that you've made recently that you called mimology,
Yeah,
mimology,
very good. Yeah, yeah.
mimology in English. How do you say it in Spanish?
Mimología.
mimología.
Mimología,
Yes.
and they're like little lessons that you share, like you say, from my couch to yours, my sofa to
Yes.
yours, right?
It's true.
But
It's
the
true.
the one that I really loved was the number 10, where you were talking about how do you lose something in mime. I thought that what a great subject for a study, because
Because
the
nothing.
object is not there, but how can you lose it? It's a beautiful lesson that you shared.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Because this is, I saw it with the drawings, when in a comics, when they show an object somewhere and then this object disappear. How do they show the empty space? When it's empty, they put some lines to show, look, it now this place where the object was, there is nothing. There is no other way, they show the emptiness. And I thought, yes, and in mime, even when I have something, I have nothing. So how do I show it? So the trick, or the main lesson is, I have to make the object so clear that is real in the imagination of the people.
Mm-hmm.
When they have it here so clear, then I can lose it. Then
And
I
you
say,
can also, you have to plant the reference image, like
exactly.
you don't
Yeah,
have to repeat the image. Once you've grounded it in their brains, they'll remember that if you just
yeah,
reference maybe even just a space or something. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's so interesting. This, it has a little bit philosophy of mime there. It
Yeah,
was,
yeah, yeah.
I mean, my agent encouraged me to do it, and my promoter, especially Carlos, you do something, and I don't like to do online things. But this mimologia was something that I was very happy to teach a few thoughts, and not only for mimes, it makes you thinking, about life.
Do you
Mm-hmm.
feel that I feel that as a mime, I also must teach. I feel like maybe for every artist, there's that responsibility to pass on the knowledge. And I've always felt, and plus they teaching and performing complement each other, I feel.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about that? I know there's a great quote from Marcel Marceau. I seem to bring this up every interview, but he said, attributed to him in 1960, an art dies for the lack of creators and schools. So this idea of teaching for me has been very important as one of my missions as an artist. I don't know, what do you feel? Because I know you have these very, very good lessons, and you work with.
Honestly, I love teaching. I
Yeah.
love teaching. I remember once in one of my first classes, um, I was teaching. I had 12 students. It was like, I don't know, 3 days more or less. And next year they invited me again, the same organization, and there were another 12 people. But in both groups, it was always the same girl. It was a student, a girl with the blonde hair, blue eyes, and okay, good. No, she repeated the same course, and I thought it's very strange that she repeat. It's the same course. It's not the second level. When I did the third year, I saw the 12 students, and one of them was the same girl with the. Of course, when I saw her in the fourth year, I told her, "What? Why are you coming here? I mean, come on. It's always the same course. It's not that it's a different level." And she said, "Sorry, I'm not coming because of you. I come because of your students. They look like children touching the snow for the first time."
Wow.
And this girl is a painter. She became a painter professional. And she tells, and she's quite known, at least in Germany. She was in China, in different countries. And she told me, every time I have to remember that my art as a painter started in your workshops. So this makes our work that is not only for mimes, it's
Mm.
for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what makes my teaching special, because then it's not that I am producing mimes. If I can produce another artist or other painter, or I can influence people to choose art, or even to be a better father, better mother, or a better friend, or better professional, better teacher. But
Yeah, I'm in total agreement with you. I mean, for me, it's even if they learn how to see, if you can
yes,
see your world with different eyes and make creative decisions about it, that's enough. You don't have to be a performer or a mime.
exactly,
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly.
Plus, by creating a story and embodying that person, you begin to feel that empathy for all the different types of people that are in the world, and that makes you a better person,
Correct.
I think.
Correct.
Wow.
And, it's amazing. I saw many people changed. I mean,
Mm.
this is our this is the best side of our job when an
Mm.
artist is able to change something in the lives of others. What else can we ask?
Uh-huh.
That's
Uh,
wonderful.
Well, that's
it's
the
really
mission of art, isn't it? That's what
yes,
the art should do.
yes.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I want to ask you about a particular YouTube video that I saw of yours, which was a trailer
Oh,
for a piece that you did. That's, I think it's called Classique.
classic. Yes.
It's a collaboration with a classical pianist. And talk to me about, like, how did that collaboration come about? It's a beautiful idea. I mean, music and mime go so well together, but to have a live musician.
Yes. Oh, moment. Now you want to know something that is very personal, because in the 2000 in the year 2000, I was playing tours with a piano player who was following me, with the piano. It's a
Mhm.
kind of the, how do you say, the Charlie Chaplin
Yeah,
films.
the
Oh,
accompanist.
Piano
Yeah,
player is
yeah.
following, but he did it so elegant, so well done, that people didn't know who was following whom.
ah,
This was magic. We became like not only friends, we became brothers. He died, and
Mm.
his widow still calls me brother. His sons call me Uncle Carlos. Um when he died, I was not able to hear piano anymore,
Mm.
at least on the stage. So many pianists call me that we can go on to follow the legacy of this piano player. Not me, not me. And then came this a festival, classical music festival, Chopin, Schubert, Mendelssohn, and they invited me, and I said, but why do they invite a mime to a classical music festival? And then when I arrived there, they said, there is a piano player, and we want that you and her, you develop a show. You have 4 hours. And then we said, sorry, 4 hours? No, we need 4 days, 4 months, and I don't want piano. So I called my wife and I said, I cannot do it. I cannot do it. And my wife said, give a chance. It's not a man, it's a woman. It's completely different than the pianist. Give a chance. In 4 hours, believe me, in 4 hours, we had a show, amazing show. We presented there on the stage in the festival, and it was the beginning of a great experience, because she was not following me. She's playing the partitura. Is she has the partitura, and she's not looking at me. She is playing, I am playing. I don't look at her except in very specific moments already directed by the director, but it's like two complete different arts uh, together, without this idea of following each other.
ah.
Wow.
I tell you, we cannot do it very often. She's very famous. She's traveling a lot, many countries, and our agendas don't allow us to work together many times. I think we did it once or even less per year. But every time we play is a magic moment.
And
It's
Oh.
and Her name is Shani
Shani Di Luca. Shani Di
DeLuca.
Luca, yes, she just was condecorated now with the, I don't say the name because perhaps I will make a mistake, but in Monaco by the princess. So it was a really high level, very well recognized. When she was a child, she was selected among many children for Grace Kelly, for
Hmm.
the princess in Monaco. And then she chose, I think, few children, and she was one of them. So she became really exceptional, and now she works for Warner Music.
Hmm.
Warner Music hire her as a classical level. So it's an honor for me every time I play with her. Yes.
What a beautiful story. Thank you so much.
Oh, well, sorry, the problem is your questions. Good
Oh,
questions that make me thinking.
is it getting hot in here, Karen?
Oh, I don't know. Do you feel some fire?
What? Oh no! Wait, put it out! Put it out! Wait!
What do you hear?
Well, it's a flame. There's fire here. There's
no.
fire here. Put it out! Put it out! Oh no!
Carlos, do you have any fire in your place there? Are you catching fire?
I don't know.
Carlos.
Let me see. Let me
Carlos.
see. Let me see. No.
Carlos, it's time for rapid fire.
Online. In
this
German,
is a-
they say online.
Oh yes, this is a little game that James invented. A little
I don't
word
know.
association.
I don't think I invented it, but
Yeah, you did. It's
yeah. So this is well for the show. So I'm going to give you some words. You're a word guy, you said. So, and I want you to respond. If you're game to do this, if you want to, you need to respond as quickly as you can. So it's a word association. So here we go. Spotlight. One word.
Yeah, deslumbramiento is.
Puedes decirlo.
I cannot see. You need a word or a
No, yeah, just a word. Puedes decirlo en
Okay.
español si quieres. You can say it in Spanish if you want. You know,
Okay,
that's okay with me. Yeah. Okay.
It's a blindness.
Blindness. Okay. Yeah. Spotlight. Blindness. Hands.
Touch. To touch.
Eyes.
To observe.
Sweat.
To work.
Child.
To enjoy.
Elder.
To keep enjoying.
Beautiful. Props.
Many.
Air.
Thought.
Mask.
You.
Age.
Growing.
Good. Failure.
School.
Critic.
Good.
Teacher.
Learning.
Fame.
Vanity.
Language.
Story.
Mime.
Silence.
Thank you very much. Beautiful.
Welcome.
Okay. That was rapid fire, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow. Did I pass the test or?
You did with flying colors, with lots of sound and.
So Carlos, I have a kind of an odd question for you, and it has to It has to do with your costume. The choice of what you wear on stage is quite different from other mimes. Other mimes are usually wearing maybe like a knit or something soft or um uh a kind, Marceau is famous for his jumpsuit and his striped shirt, but your costume is a collared shirt and a pants with a belt, and it even looks like you were but all in black, but which is traditional, but
And
um
polished shoes, polished dark shoes, I
yeah,
think
so
too. Yeah, yeah.
it's a very different look
And
from.
white gloves, some white gloves. Yeah.
Yes,
Do
and
you always use the gloves? Are the gloves always there? Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes. I mean, the black color came later. In the beginning, I was finding my place, and I thought to go with a shirt gives this elegant touch of being on the stage. And I thought my mom told me do it well, so I
Mm.
tried to be elegant and elegant. I mean, I'm Spanish. You can be elegant as much as you can or as much as you are, but at least the clothes shouldn't distract the story. Should be the most neutral.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
because your clothing is also very, I'll use the word pedestrian. It's like your neighbor could be wearing that, or
yes,
the
yes,
person in the office, or the person sitting in the
exactly.
restaurant. Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes.
yeah.
It's just it's black, and the black gives this neutral touch to the story,
Mhm.
and this is why the makeup for me is important. Like the gloves, somebody said, you do it like Marceau. I said, Marceau never used gloves, it, I mean, I do it, especially gloves and the makeup, of course. I do it because I can take it away at the end of the show.
Mm.
This is the power of um, the ending of the show. After 1 hour, 1 hour 20 in silence, and with all more or less in neutral, when the people see me taking away the gloves, the real gloves, they know it's the end.
You do it on stage. I've
I do
never,
it on the stage.
yeah,
I
I
do
haven't
it
seen
on
your
the
live
stage.
performance, but that's a great touch. Yeah.
Then depending in which situation, I give it to the people. I did it once, and then somebody called me. I have your glove at home.
Wow,
After years, I
that's
have your
fantastic.
glove at home, and I thought, this is why I use gloves. I don't need them. Like I don't need the mask, the makeup to do mine. Come on, I don't need if it's black or red. No, but the glove. I tell you, there are people
Hmm.
that they still keep these gloves because they took it in the air, and for them, this is a symbol of my work.
Yeah, it's like in the United States, we have baseball, and so the
Yes,
players hit the ball into the stands, and the
yes,
person will
yes.
keep the ball forever.
That's
And
such a
this,
beautiful. It's a beautiful gesture, though. It's
Yeah,
very.
it is.
It's like a ritual. Like you talked about how the dressing room is the beginning, where
yes,
you become the mime, and the end is to take it off
exactly.
and give
Yes.
it to the audience.
Yeah,
Um,
Lovely.
it's nice but expensive, especially.
yeah.
But I do it very happily because, and sometimes perhaps I don't throw it to the people, I don't give it to the people, but perhaps at the end of a tour or at the end of a performance, I take it and I give it to the organizer, or I
Yeah,
give it.
yeah, it's beautiful.
It's the present. It's like the show is finished.
I'm curious now, in this moment, how do you remove those gloves? I mean, there's many different ways to take off gloves. Like, what could you demonstrate how you might do that?
Yes,
And then
yes.
how do you hold them? before you throw it or not? Where do you put the
Yeah,
glass?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's a lot of rehearsals. Thanks for the question,
yeah.
because you want to do it very fast. And the director, it was the first director I had, that she told me, no, very slow, one by one, because they have to see that he's
It's a great
finishing,
touch.
you
Yeah.
know. And then the other one, and then the problem we found is that if you throw it like this, it's only 50 centimeters falls down.
Yeah, yeah.
So you have to put them together and then you can throw it further. So
Wow.
we had to rehearse all these things, the timing, the people are still clapping, and yeah,
Is
yeah.
that at the conclusion of an actual piece, or is it a separate moment unto itself? Like you conclude your last number, and then do you do this ritual, or do you do it at the end of your last
No, no, no. It's
piece?
at the end of the before the encores.
Uh-huh.
Before the encores. Then I take it, and
Yeah.
then sometimes I do the encores still with the makeup, and
Mhm.
sometimes I finish and then I take off the makeup also on the stage
Oh,
in
really?
10 seconds.
Wow.
10 seconds, and then because I am without makeup, then I am without makeup, without gloves, then I can speak.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's very
Nice.
beautiful.
There is where the people I wake up in the sense like, what? This is really a miracle. A man who cannot speak suddenly speaks.
Yeah.
And
Have you ever in your career wanted to use words, or ever had been tempted to use words, or felt you had to use words to establish this certain idea, or did you always were very
yeah,
disciplined with the silence throughout your
no,
40
no,
years?
no, no. I had to once the director directed me once um, one small scene that it was a microphone on the stage, a real microphone, and I was performing a very short piece, but I was always looking at the real microphone. Normally, I don't use many props, but the director wanted this. And then little by little, I was coming to the microphone, and of course, what a mime can do with the microphone. No? So I was going around and looking the microphone, and then at the end, I came so close. But this took like 1 minute in silence with the microphone and then I come so close, close, close to the microphone, and then I just said good night.
Beautiful.
And then the
Yeah.
microphone, in the hall. It was one of the first times that I spoke, and for the people was like. But now I have a show called Mimologos. There comes Mimologia.
Hmm.
Mimologos is a show that is without makeup, and then I tell some stories of my art, my years, my anecdotes, and then I play one piece of mime and I tell other stories. And it's a program of 45 minutes, 50 minutes. And sometimes I do this, especially in places that they don't know what is mime.
Yeah, I've done things like yeah, that's very
Yes.
powerful.
Yeah.
Do you have do you have any quick disaster stories about from your touring? Do you have any, you've traveled to so many parts of the world. I think Karen might ask you a question about that. But what about, is there any event that happened that was unexpected, that was a calamity, or was not a
Yeah,
good experience? It could be amusing or not.
it was once my technician couldn't come to the theater, so I asked the boy to put the music. I had one piece with music, the rest was silence. And then I was playing a very kind character, very nice, and this piece should be in silence. But the man put the music as soon as he saw me on the stage, put the music. But the character was very kind, very good man, very nice. And of course, I look at him from the stage like, cut, you know, and then cut, cut. I was doing all kinds of movements. And then, of course, at the end, he understood finally. But a lady from the Spanish embassy that came to see the show, she told me, I didn't know that character was so bad. Because the character should be a nice character, but of course she saw the character doing this, and then she thought, "What a bad character were you playing?"
Wow.
Yeah, this was in these moments you really don't know. There is where you learn you cannot use mime to cut mime. You know, if
Wait, say that again. You cannot use mime
you
to.
cannot use another gesture to cut or to go back to what you did, because this confuses the people, you know.
Yeah.
So when sometimes I had a problem, the people didn't realize that I was on the stage. And then what I did after 15 minutes, I stopped. And then they were looking. I took off the makeup and I sit down with them and we were talking, and it was a great time. You know, sometimes you can break silence with words, and of course with good words.
Yeah.
Because I believe that when I speak, my speech should be, this is why my director works with that. If I speak, my speech has to be as good as the silence.
Yeah, you're a great communicator. Like, let's talk about legacy for a minute. Like, do you think about that? I know I've seen you interviewed. I've seen you give your mimology. I've seen I've talked with you as a friend, and you're very good with words. But what's your feeling about a lasting impression that you might have as Carlos Martinez? Is that important to you or not? Because we remember you. You're a memorable person for sure in your work and personally.
Thank you. Yeah. How nice! How nice! Yeah. I need more water. No, our stories, all the mimes who believe in the invisible art, in the invisible architecture. I like to say this. This work disappears in one way, but stays in the brain of the people, in the heart of the people. I believe so. And once I saw a little child, or no, a teenager already, a teenager who told me, my grandmother told me to come. She still remember when she was young, your performance. And when I saw one of the pieces you did, that she has seen it, I was so touched. A teenager, he would never come to see a mime. He came because of the grandmother. And this is the legacy. The other mimes will wake up our names. Like when somebody says, but why do you use makeup? Come on, you don't need it. I say, I am the first one that I don't need it. It's an homage to the people I admire, starting with Devereaux or Marceau, Sami Mozo, or Fialka, or it's a kind of an homage to them. And in one video, when I was learning the Vladislav Fialka from Czech Republic, he said, I really hope that somebody will paint the face with the white makeup and will keep this tradition. And I said, I do it. I know I don't need the makeup. This is why I do mimologos, because I can do mine. It's like the clown. The clown doesn't need the red nose. Of course, the red nose helps, but is the clown is a clown,
Yeah.
and a magic. How do you say, the magic professional? They don't need the stick, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. The
Use
wand.
it,
Yeah.
but they don't need it. And then I don't need the makeup, but I know it's a part of keeping the legacy of
Yeah, it's
our.
very, very well said. I remember
That's really
seeing Fialka. Yeah, I saw Fialka in '74 live in the United States at one of these big festivals, and he did an homage to Marceau. One of the pieces that the Fialka troupe did was a homage to Marceau, you know, in
Yeah,
terms of that style. And I thought that I was young, and so I didn't really understand why he was doing that, but I can see the reason now why that was happening. Yeah.
yeah,
Carlos says
yeah.
that is really just a beautiful
Yeah, it is.
sentiment. It's like one of the reasons why we are doing these Mime radio shows is to keep the legacy going and to have an archive of these thoughts and the art form so that it can continue. And I know that all your work is going to inspire many people, and I really applaud you for that, and I really appreciate
Thank you very much.
I
Thank you.
appreciate you being a part of the Mime radio show. Thank
What
you-
advice
thank
would you
very
give to
much.
young people? What advice would you give to young people in a short thought?
Um, the main thing is to observe. This is very general, but to observe yourself. When we are young, we look at the whole world, we look at the dreams, and especially the bodies are very strange body to us.
Yeah.
They should be happy with themselves and to enjoy themselves, to learn from themselves, because this is the beginning of mime, you know. When you are on the stage, you have to believe in yourself. You have to know your body. You have to know yourself. Otherwise, you don't go to the stage.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Yeah, this has been
Carlos.
fantastic, Carlos. Thank you.
Wonderful, inspiring conversation.
And for those of you that are seeing this, that in about 2 weeks, well, I don't know how it'll drop in our schedule later, but we're doing a full Spanish language interview with Carlos later, because we know in the Spanish speaking world in Latin America and other parts of the world that there are lots of young mimes out there.
So
Good.
As well as old mimes.
we look forward to that. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Carlos.
Thanks,
All the
Carlos.
best. All the best for this program, for what you do. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. The Mime Radio Show with Carlos Martinez. Adios.
Adios. Adios. Adios.
Thank you for listening to the Mime Radio Show. Join us in 2 weeks for an interview with Theater Movement Bazaar. Please like and subscribe, and check out our website, mimeradioshow.com.